Welcome back to Beyond Wisdom, where we explore timeless truths for a more peaceful and meaningful life. In a world that often feels noisy, fast, and uncertain, many of us find ourselves longing for something steady, something that grounds us when everything else spins. That something isn't always found in more productivity or better habits. Often, it's found in ancient virtues, quiet inner qualities that help people for thousands of years live with integrity, clarity, and peace. Today, we're exploring 4 of those timeless virtues, not as a checklist, but as a way of remembering what truly makes life feel right again. Virtue number 1. Courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing to act in spite of it. The ancient Stoics placed courage at the center of a well-lived life. To them, life was full of trials, loss, injustice, change. But what mattered wasn't the outcome. It was the strength to face it all without losing your soul. Imagine a Roman soldier, not because he loved war, but because he believed in honor. Or think of the Buddha, who walked away from a life of royal luxury into the unknown, simply because he felt called to understand suffering more deeply. Courage, at its core, is doing what feels right even when it's hard. And in modern life, it might look like telling the truth when silence would be easier. Or leaving something that's comfortable but not honest. When we live with courage, we stop betraying ourselves just to fit in, and life starts to feel more real, more aligned. Virtue number 2. Temperance. In ancient Greece, temperance wasn't about deprivation. It was about balance. The word comes from the Latin temperare, meaning to mix in due proportion. Temperance is knowing when enough is enough. In a time of excess, where we're encouraged to always want more pleasure, more possessions, more recognition, temperance invites us to pause. The philosopher Plato believed a well-ordered soul was like a charioteer guiding 2 wild horses, desire and reason. And only through temperance could the chariot stay on course. In practical terms, temperance could be as simple as putting your phone down during a meal, or resisting the urge to respond in anger when someone disrespects you. It's the space between impulse and action. And when we rediscover that space, we create room for peace. Not the peace that comes from escaping life, but the kind that comes from moving through it with steadiness. Virtue number 3. Justice. Justice isn't just about the law. It's about right relationship with others, with society, and with ourselves. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, perhaps one of the most powerful men in history, wrote that justice was the source of all the other virtues. Because without fairness and care for others, courage can become cruelty, and discipline can turn cold. Justice, at its root, is the virtue that keeps us human. In ancient Egyptian culture, there was a concept called ma'at, the idea that the universe functioned in harmony only when people lived with truth, balance, and fairness. When that harmony was broken, disorder followed. In our time, justice can feel abstract. But it's there when we speak up for someone with no voice. When we return a favor we could have forgotten. When we treat the cashier with the same respect as the CEO. When we carry this virtue, we start to see others not as obstacles or tools, but as fellow travelers, and life feels lighter. Virtue number 4. Wisdom. Of all the virtues, wisdom is the one that guides the rest. Wisdom is not just knowledge, it's knowing what to do with it. It's seeing clearly what matters and what doesn't. Socrates said, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing," which sounds humble, but it's also a powerful starting point, because when we stop assuming, we start learning. In Taoist philosophy, wisdom often meant flowing with life, not resisting it, not in weakness, but in deep understanding. A wise person doesn't force their way through everything. They sense the right moment. They trust timing. They listen more than they speak. In our modern rush to solve, fix, and control, we often skip over wisdom. But the wisest people aren't always the loudest. They're the ones who see through noise to what's essential. And when we begin to live with this kind of insight, we notice something beautiful, that many of the answers we've been chasing were inside us all along. These four virtues, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom, are not steps to success. They're the roots of a deeper kind of strength, the kind that doesn't need attention to feel fulfilled, the kind that isn't shaken by every change or storm. When we begin to live from these inner places, something shifts. Life may not become easier, but it begins to feel right, more whole, and more connected to something steady, something ancient within us. Which of these virtues feels most present in your life right now? And which one do you want to strengthen? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what this brought up for you. Thanks for watching. If this video brought you value, subscribe to Beyond Wisdom. Until next time, stay calm, stay strong, and stay wise.